Hello, flower friends. Okay, today we are going to do something just a tad little different. This is technically not a flower. It is technically a leaf, I guess, and I think technically a weed, but we're going to call it a leaf, and we're going to call it a flower, and we're going to say, woohoo, happy St. Patrick's Day, because it's a 4-leaf clover. And I'm so excited to show how I made this. So I normally am not a huge St. Patrick's Day person, mostly because I'm not really cool with the whole little leprechaun thing, and I don't know, it's just not my color scheme. I just like the decor. It just doesn't work for me. So anyways, this was a fun project for me to figure out how to make it where I was like, yeah, I'll decorate for St. Patrick's Day if I can make cute little 4-leaf clovers and cute little flower weeds that are flowers, not weeds. Let's get started. So first off, this is your chance to like and subscribe and make sure you're following because that's important. All right, so on my website, there is a free digital download for this bad boy stencil. So you can either do an SVG cut on this or hand cut it with freezer paper. You use your Cricut Maker, your Silhouette Cameo, whatever you feel like, and you can cut out all these super cute, adorable little clovers at home. And again, it's free, link below to my website. So I cut out like a billion of these because I was like, why not? Because they're cute and adorable, and I kind of want to put them all over the place. All right, so for this project that I'm doing right now, I'm just needing one of the larger little clovers, but as you can see to the side of the screen, I definitely have some different versions, so don't let this hold you back. So starting with this larger clover, it's about 2 inches by 2 inches. So if you're cutting on your Cricut Maker or Silhouette, that's how I scaled it, but again, you can scale it however big or small you want it. So I'm using a white Posca, I don't know, it's kind of like a felt tip marker pen, but it is in white, and I'm just adding some white details to the felt. I love getting different mediums and mixing them together to make more details, just to make everything a little bit more fun and dynamic. So I'm just putting some lines on all my petals and just a little bit of detail. And you can skip this or you can do more or go crazy. For instance, on one of them I did little polka dots just to be fun too. So try it out, use different things, like for instance, even like a white colored pencil works really, really well for this too. And I've done that before, but I really, really like how the marker just kind of glides on the felt. All right, next I'm taking a 22 gauge wire and I am just trimming it down to a reasonable length because I'm gonna go ahead and put it in a little pot, so I don't need a really long length. I'm just guessing here. I think this is about like 4 inches. You can measure it up ahead of time, but I'll probably go back and trim it once I put it in the pot. So I'm gonna just fish it right down the middle, and then we're gonna add a glue and then kind of glue up all of these leaf petals, up so that it gives it even more dimension, even more fun. I'm using my Surebonder glue gun and glue stick with the fine tip detail point, because it definitely helps get the glue exactly where I want it. And I'm gonna go ahead and pinch. I'm doing this all at once if you kind of grab the 2 side petals, leaves, and then push up, it kind of naturally bounces and grabs the 2 other sides. But if you want to do 1 leaf at a time, go for it. But that's just kind of how I've kind of trained myself to do it all at once. But there's your little clover. So super easy, super cute, super fun. And you can go nuts and do a billion of them, but we're gonna do 1 today. Okay, so I have this little tiny baby little clay pot that I just picked up at my local craft store. And I'm gonna go ahead and get some floral foam. And we're gonna go throw some of that in the middle of the pot to kind of hold all of our flowers and clovers together. So I've already trimmed some of this for my bigger pots and stuff, but I'm gonna get my super awesome, amazing floral foam knife. This thing is like amazing. I highly suggest you get one because it makes cutting floral foam like a piece of cake and like butter. So I'm literally just trimming a piece to fit directly into my pot. If you notice, I kind of like put it on top and I kind of just like gauged how big, and I'm just kind of throwing it in there. And since it's foam, I'm literally just like pushing it in there, and it's bending the foam at the bottom, so it's like perfectly flush to the top. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and grab a piece of green felt. This is my camouflage color, but you can use whatever color you have. This is kind of like my base grass, I guess you could say. So I'm taking a pencil and basically tracing it to make a nice pretty circle. And keep in mind, accidentally using a pencil maybe wasn't the best idea because I ended up accidentally getting lead on my pot. You can't really see it, so it's not that big of a deal, and I'm sure an eraser will take it off, and I haven't done that yet. But I mean, maybe a pencil wasn't the best thing, a heat erase marker or felt tip, whatever. Just make a little template for your circle. so that I'm also trimming my circle to get it as close as I can to that top. So it's kind of going back and forth. Just try to do it slowly so you're not trimming off too much because you don't want big gaps. But even if you do have some gaps, like one of my other ones has some gaps and it totally looks fine and you can't even tell. So I'm just getting it close enough here just to cover that top because you don't want to see that foam. Now, when I glue this piece on there, you only want to put glue on the outside ring of your felt circle. You definitely don't want to put it in the middle because you're going to be stabbing. You're going to be placing your leaves and wires just straight through the middle, and you don't want to block your like pathway with glue because those wires just will have a really hard time getting through that glue. So I'm only putting it around the outside, that way the wire can still be fished through that felt on the top and have nothing in the way. And I'm just fishing it through straight to the middle, and oh my gosh, look how sweet and cute she is. I love it so much. And if you saw, there's totally pencil marks on that. I'm gonna go through and like erase that later, so maybe using a pencil is not the best idea, but it works great. Okay, so now for our little clover weed flower. Okay, so I'm taking a 3-inch wide strip of my ivory felt, and then I'm kind of cutting a strip that's like about 3/4 of an inch wide on that. I used my scallop shear scissors just to give it a nice little humpy bumpy look on one side, and that definitely helps guide your fringe when you're cutting because then you have exact cut marks when you're going to cut on those valleys, and it just makes it a lot easier. So we're gonna go ahead and cut fringe, and you're not gonna go all the way down, you're gonna go most of the way down. Okay, you're gonna take another piece of wire, and again, we're gonna trim this, so it doesn't really matter how long you want it. You just wanna make sure that it's a little bit longer than you think that you need it. You're gonna put one loop on one side of the wire, and then we're gonna fish it through one of the first few little fringes. Make sure you don't close that loop on that wire until you kind of put it through the felt, and then we're gonna cinch it tight with our pliers, and that's just gonna make sure that it's really adhered to our felt and it's not going to fall off at any point too. So it's just like it's not going anywhere. We're going to throw some glue around the base of this strip and just simply roll it. I'm going to make sure I'm putting a lot of pressure on the bottom when we're rolling it because we want it to flare out. So I like to kind of squeeze it at the bottom, and that's going to help flare out our clover. Putting a little bit of glue on the bottom, and then watch. Boop. We're just gonna squeeze that really tightly so that way, again, it flares and it's not just like this straight looking clover. See that beautiful flare? Just gonna trim some of that little bit of glue. Because you're putting so much in the bottom, of course some is gonna kind of like spill out a little bit, so just take your scissors and trim anything that kind of like spills out the bottom. Okay, so now I'm kind of like test measuring it too. And we're just gonna fish it through, and I'm just twisting it and then like shoving it all the way down into that felt and kind of just like giving it a little bit of curve just because it's fun instead of being like a straight upsy downy. And actually I kind of don't love the length of that, so I'm gonna actually pull it out and trim a little bit just to make it a much better height because it just looked a little too wonky. So again, that's why I kind of like putting it in there first before making any of those height decisions, because you definitely want to make sure that you're making the right decisions. So cut once, cry once. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and make a cute little ribbon bow for the front of my little pot. So I found this cute little ribbon, and we're gonna make kind of like a weird hodgepodgey bow because this bow is smaller. I didn't want it super bulky when kind of making a traditional bow. So this is kind of a backwards piece together bow. So I decided what my loops size were gonna be, and then I put some glue in the middle, folding over some loops and squinching that center up to make a fun little bow shape. Now we're gonna make a little center cover because obviously the center looks ugly, so we're gonna take another piece of ribbon, and we're gonna fold it in half because it's too wide. And then just put a little glue, fold, and then we're gonna go ahead and glue this around that center to make it more complete and finished, so it doesn't look like we're kind of faking a bow, because that's what we're doing. We are faking it till we make it. But here is a cute little bow shape. I'm gonna trim off the back because I just estimated how much I needed on length. So you just wanna kind of trim and clean that back up a little bit too, so that we wanna remove as much bulk on the back as you can. All right, now we're gonna do some ribbon tails. And by the way, I am totally just estimating lengths right now. I just kind of did like a, oh, that looks about right, and then cut it. There's no specific lengths that I'm working with. So I went ahead and got trimmed some more for the tails, and then I'm making those little V shapes. So they're just like a cute little finished bow there. So we're gonna put a little bit of glue straight down the middle again, and we're gonna scrunch it up the same way we did the top of the bow, and just make it like really kind of like a ball in the middle. And then we're gonna fold that over and make it kind of trail down. Wow, I am not doing the best job with my description words on how to make a bow. So I hope the video is helping because my words suck right now. One key thing is that the corner piece that's being glued that I'm holding, you definitely want to make that as thin as possible because you definitely don't want a ton of bulk on the back of your bow. Throw a little bit more glue and add it to your bow. Ta-da! We totally just faked a bow. I mean, it's still a bow. It still counts, right? Even though we didn't actually like tie it into a bow, it still looks like a cute little bow. Am I right? All right, so now I'm just gonna add a little bit more glue to the top front of my little clay pot here and add the bow to finish it off. And then just make sure you hold it down until that glue is completely set. And then there you go. Isn't she so cute? So I did a bunch of different versions. I did a bigger pot where I put a bunch of different size clovers and some clover flowers. And then I did one with just a clover. So I'm so excited to just kind of put these around my house and finally celebrate a little bit of St. Patrick's Day. I hope you loved this little project and craft. Again, go snag the free digital download SVG and PDF pattern so you can totally make these at home. And I just love how these turned out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you are not missing any future videos of some fun crafts and some more future fun little projects that I'll be coming out. Thanks guys, love ya.